How's it going, everybody? RazingHel here, and I've had a miserable last couple of days, all because of a used phone that I bought. And at this point, I think it is good advice to say don't buy used phones. If you can, spend the little bit of extra money and get your phone from a valid retail source. I'm talking about the phone carrier or the manufacturer, because the used market and even the new market on less official marketplaces is just nuts in terms of the amount of garbage that's being peddled on there. And I'm going to go through a list here today of the different phones that I've bought in the past few years. I would say about 4 years. I've bought quite a few different phones, well, quite a few relative, bought a few different phones, and I'm going to tell you what was wrong with them. These were phones that I mostly bought from eBay, but I also got them from another place that supposedly refurbished phones, but they really didn't. So the most recent phone, we're going to get started with that one. I bought an iPhone 7. For various reasons, my previous phone had a defect in it. It was also a phone that I bought from a fishy source. I bought the iPhone 7. I bought it, it was like refurbished. It said it was in good condition. The problems that the listing on eBay said it could have involved scratches, scuffs, and dents, and the phone was said to be 100% functional. So I get the iPhone, you know, pop my SIM card in it. It's compatible with my carrier, so there's no problem there. And then the device starts crashing. And it crashes when you're watching videos. It just crashes when it's sitting on the desk. It's constantly rebooting. It crashes when you're listening to music. It happened probably about 5 times in the space of 12 hours. It just completely shut down and restarted. So there's obviously a problem with this phone. And on top of that, sometimes it doesn't recognize the SIM card. Sometimes it'll just, an error message will pop up and say, you know, there was an issue updating the SIM card, something, 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 take it into an Apple store. So the phone is obviously not 100% functional, and the bastards are still shipping it out there anyway. I don't know what they're hoping. Is that I just won't return it? It has a 60-day return guarantee on it, on the eBay listing. So that takes care of the most recent piece of garbage phone that I bought from eBay. Granted, most of these are from eBay. Oh my, just watch out for people on eBay. Disgusting. These are big sellers too. Like, this was not some random person on eBay that I bought it from with like 20 reputation or something, but with those little stars you can get. They actually have sold 160, well, sold, I say. They have received 169,000 feedback, and 98.6% of it is positive. So like, they're in this for the long haul, and they're still shipping product that does not match the description of their listing on eBay. So then let's step one phone previous to this. So before I bought the iPhone 7, I bought a new iPhone SE, and I say new very loosely. I'm putting it in quotes. Can you see me air quoting here? No, you probably can't. So I like little phones. They're handy because I usually only use my phone for things that are related to like phone calls or music or stuff like that. So I wanted an SE. Apple did not release a new small phone to replace it, so I went and bought a new iPhone SE off of eBay after Apple discontinued the one that they were selling. Now, once I received this new phone, I compare it to my previous SE, because I had an iPhone SE before that for about 2.5 years, and I compared the battery capacity, because Apple, after their whole debacle with the power management, they start showing the battery capacity. And it's like the maximum amount of charge or something you can put on the phone. Disregard my lack of eloquence when it comes to phrasing it. The point is, when I compared it to the old one, the new one actually had less capacity in its battery than the one that I had been using pretty much every day for the last 2.5 years. On top of that, the logo, the Apple logo on the back could be pressed in, and there would be a little gap in between the logo and like the shell that it was fitted to. So I think over time what happened with this was it pressed like the PCB into the screen, and so now there's a bright spot on the screen and the exact location that the Apple logo, the loose Apple logo, is. So this was supposedly a phone that was new. Granted, it shipped from Hong Kong, if I'm not mistaken, whatever that means. It was fishy as hell, but you know, I just could not find a 64 gig, or I couldn't find anything but a 32 gigabyte version of the SE, like literally one day after Apple discontinued it. It was ridiculous. So the Apple logo is loose, and the battery is not capable of full capacity. So I want to get rid of this. I mean, I'm just probably going to throw it in the closet or something just in case. Phone before that, Samsung Galaxy S5. So this was because I wanted to have an Android phone so I could do things that required an Android operating system. And I went with a carrier, I forget what the name of it is, I think it's called Freedom Pop. They offer no-cost plans. You get a certain number of minutes and data per month. And they were selling these refurbished Samsung Galaxy S5s. So, you know, it was like $100. So I ordered one, and it arrives with the screen. The bottom of the screen isn't actually sealed to the phone device. There was a big gap, I would say probably 1/8 of an inch. It's significant. There's this big freaking gap between the screen and the phone body. And so I take a picture of it and show it, and I send the picture to Freedom Pop, and they send me another one. This one's better, but you can tell the screen is not fully seated to the body of it. There is give. It lifts up, which just is the worst sort of feeling when you're pressing the home button, and you can feel the screen like physically depress along with the home button. It was just awful. So once again, another refurbished phone. First off, they tried to pawn one off on you that was just completely broken. You know, the Samsung Galaxy S5 is supposed to be a water resistant, waterproof slash phone kind of thing. There was no way with that big honking gap in between the screen and the body that this thing was waterproof. And then they sent out with another one that's marginally acceptable. Like it was, I wouldn't trust putting it in anything wet because it looks like the screen is also peeling up. But you know, at the end of the day, I said, fine, I'll just keep it. It's $100 and it does work. So, you know, it filled most of those requirements. I was not going to be using it as a daily driver, so it was not something that was going to frustrate me on a continued basis. Let's take a step back from there. So that was about a year and a half ago. So then we're looking at more like 2 years ago now. I bought, it was probably 3. I bought somebody in my family an iPhone 5S, and I bought it from eBay. And the first time I, you know, buy one, I check out the listing and everything, and I will never forget this. It lists the item in like excellent condition. It was the best possible condition that this mass reseller of these phones could possibly list it in. And the phone arrives, and it is just beat to hell. It looks like somebody took keys after it, or threw it, like threw rocks at it or something. The whole thing was just mangled. The screen was almost entirely destroyed. The entire coating was just destroyed. Yeah, it was just scratched off. It was like somebody kept it with a whole bunch of keys in their pocket all the time. And I would not describe that as excellent condition. So I get that phone sent back, and they send out, I think they send out another one, or I just buy another one, once again from eBay, because I never learned that eBay, you should never go there to buy phones, used or new, just don't buy phones on eBay. So the next phone they send out is another, or the next one I buy, actually, is another iPhone 5S. And this time, the lightning port on it fails after about 3 months. So it comes with this lightning port that's really janky. It's all hell. It feels loose and stuff, but you're at the point where you say, it's probably fine, right? How often does a lightning port fail on an iPhone? Like, it's just something that doesn't usually happen. So you figure, it'll be fine. Nope, fails after 3 months, and now you have the option to either buy the replacement, because you can buy the whole assembly for like 20 bucks, I think, or get another phone. Well, the family member did not want to bother with it, and they just bought a new phone from Verizon, which is what you should do in the first place. So that's sort of been my history of the last few years of buying used phones or new phones, and I say new with air quotes, from unverified retailers, such as goofy fly-by-night phone service providers, or stores like eBay or even Amazon. I would not trust Amazon either with this. So the moral of the story is, whenever you are buying from stores like that, don't believe that it's a new product, and don't believe that the description is accurate. Expect that they will ship you a product that does not match the description, and you'll have to go through the hassle of trying to get your money back, a refund, and then playing that lottery again and again until you finally get the product that they described on the page. If you do not want to go through all that headache, and then that's the thing too, like it requires not only a whole bunch of time to invest in the refund process, returning it, you also have to constantly move your data to and from it. You have to test it out to make sure that it works, and who knows, there might be problems with it that will not surface until you've been using it for a month or so after the warranty that these sellers provide has expired. So you're taking a massive risk when you buy from any of these sources, and it's one of those factors, one of those sort of extenuating circumstances that might not be apparent to you, and you should watch out. You should try to factor that into the discount, because these are at a significant discount, right? You look at a phone on eBay, it might be $200 less than one that you buy new or even refurbished from the original manufacturer. But I want you to ask yourself if it is worth your time, if it is worth the headache, the misery, and just the overall way in which dealing with these types of people make you lose faith in humanity, simply to save that $200 or that, let's say it's a 33% discount, because it might not be. And I think it is one of those aspects that is more easily overlooked. So I hope that gave you something to think about. Granted, I just might have really rotten luck here when it comes to getting decent used phones from these less credible retail outlets, but I think it is something that you might want to keep in mind if you decide to go down the route of buying from a less official source. So if you got all the way through, thank you very much for watching, as always, and I hope to see you next time.